I just realized I was talking before I unmuted myself. Hi, everyone. How are you today? It's so good to be with you. Am I a little blurry? Let's see. Why would I be a little blurry? Hopefully, I'm okay for all of you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I got excited. I started talking before I unmuted myself. Let me see. Oh, I'm not blurry anymore. Okay, wonderful. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. The chat is enabled, so you should be able to put a note in the chat. And I'd love to just see who's here. And maybe you can share one word about how you're feeling today. A little bit before the hour, so 10 a.m. Oh, I didn't change the chat settings for everybody. Okay. Now you should be able to. Now they're ready. So come on into the chat, say hello and share one word to let me know how you're feeling today. Hi, Mama Lakivia. So as you guys are sharing, I just, I was thinking a lot about you all today, and I was thinking about a trend that I'm seeing a lot in the world. And I think that this happens you see it in social media, you see it. By the way, I really try not to consume very much social media at all. I am on social media because it's an important place for me to share my work. And I was really a latecomer to social media, so much so that it wasn't good for business, because by the time I went on to social media, it was already very, very saturated. So I've only been on social media for a few years, and we have made some traction there, but I know that if we had started much earlier, we would have had a lot more traction by now. But I had a lot of resistance to it. I didn't feel like it was the right place for someone like me initially, and I think that was really my academic conditioning, to be perfectly honest with you, because that's very silly. Any business needs to be on social media, and to be honest, something that I've come to realize is that any business has to in this day and age has to consider themselves a content business as well as the actual business that they set out to do, which took me a long time to realize and to wrap my mind around. And we're still, building the capacity and the mechanisms to do that, because we actually have a mountain of content, but we don't have a lot of it shared out in the world. We do it mostly internally like this, right? So anyway, so the idea that serious scientists aren't on social media was a very silly idea that I had in the beginning. But that was a little bit of a detour, just a little bit of business advice for those of you who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. And I know that we have a lot of you in that category on our email list and among our mamas. But one thing that I notice is that there's this trend toward sending the message that if something isn't happening easily for you, then there's something wrong. Maybe it's not meant to be, or you're doing it wrong. You 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 have some resistance, whatever it may be. And I want to say that all of the beautiful things that I enjoy in my life today, this company, this community, my husband, my super babies, have required, they haven't necessarily been hard, especially not the marriage and super babies part, but they have required of me a lot of courage and unending commitment. And so I just want to say that if you feel like you're doing something wrong because things aren't showing up for you immediately, or you feel like it's harder than it should be, it's not you. It's the message that we're receiving in the world, and it's really the wrong message, because beautiful things, amazing things, uncommon things require an uncommon level of commitment and an uncommon level of effort. And do you know what uncommon commitment and effort require? They require uncommon character. And I think that we need to talk about that more. And certainly we want to share that message with our super babies so that they're not afraid to get in there and really be committed and put forth whatever effort is required to be the people they want to be and to have the experiences in life that they want to have. Oh my gosh, you can't hear me? Oh, let's see. Mm. Is there anybody else who can't hear me? Can you all hear me? You can hear now? Okay. Okay, Mama Megan, is it just now that you can hear me? You couldn't hear anything that I said before that, or was it just a couple people who couldn't hear me before? Let me see. Okay, awesome. Okay, I was like, oh boy, I was talking to myself. Okay, for those, it seems like most people can hear. Yes, I've joined the audio. It looks fine on my end, but a couple people put in the chat that they couldn't hear anything. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all set. But it seems like everything's all set. Team, if there's any problem, please. Okay, thank you, Mama Robin. All right, if there's any problem, please let me know. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So I just wanted to share that as we open today, and then let me just take a look. Oh, I just saw, I'm like, I'm not blowing anyone's ears out here. I'm trying to contain myself. Mama, now I'm really gonna start crying. Mama, see me? Mama, pregnant? I think she sent that to everyone, so it's okay that I said it. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Oh my God, what a blessing. I am so happy for you. Bless you. We love you, super baby. Oh, how your mama has worked through so much to receive you. I am so proud of you. So let me just say, Mama, see me. So now that you have your positive pregnancy test, you, oh my God, I'm so happy. So send us all the details we want to hear. We'll send you the new team. Make a note to send Mama, see me the new pregnancy email with the reminders and all the things. But let me just say a couple of things about your supplement regimen right now. So as soon as you get your positive pregnancy test, you're going to stop your super egg support, because a lot of the nutrients in super egg support don't have scientific data during pregnancy. So they're amazing for egg quality and ovarian reserve and preserving ovarian function and delaying the onset of menopause and reducing the biological age of our cells in our fertility system. So they're well validated for those things, but they're not studied in pregnancy. And so because we don't know much about them during pregnancy, we stop them as soon as we get a positive pregnancy test. Now, the reality is that there are probably a lot of amazing things that could come from taking them during pregnancy, but we just don't have the scientific data, which is why we don't continue taking them. So you stop the super egg support. Actually, hold on. Let me bring my slides up because I want to show you this visually. So this is important. So Mama, see me. I want to show this to you, and then anybody else who is going to be needing this information will already have it. And of course, as soon as you get your positive pregnancy test, you just email us and we'll remind you of all these things. So you don't have to remember everything. So don't worry about that. Okay, that's what we're here for. So hold on, let me pull this up. Okay. All right. So and I'll come back to the chat in just a second because I want to see more of your messages about how you're doing today. Let me just jump into this really quickly. Okay, so Here is I'm just going to show you this visually. So, oh my God, I'm so very happy. Woo! So happy. Okay, so here is the ultimate egg and sperm collection. So first of all of the dada nutrients, the dada can continue taking obviously during pregnancy, and he can continue taking them indefinitely for his overall physical health, mental health, emotional well-being, a more resilient stress response, better cognitive function, better cardiometabolic function, younger biological age of cells. Uh, the nutrients in these formulations have been shown to protect against a whole host of problems, including certain types of cancers, etc. Not that I can never say that they're curing or anything like that, but these nutrients have been shown to be protective against cancer cell activity. So dads can continue their nutrients indefinitely. They don't ever have to pause or stop. Now, for mamas, here, let's just take a look. So your super egg support, you'll stop as soon as you get your positive pregnancy test, and then you can resume after you finish breastfeeding, because we also don't have research on the many of the nutrients in during lactation either. So during pregnancy and lactation, you pause the super egg support. Then you can resume after lactation to prepare for your next super baby, to prime ester for your next super baby, or to, if your family is complete, you can continue the nutrients for longevity support and reproductive longevity support. Because remember, even when your family is complete, you want to preserve your reproductive function and your ovarian function for as long as possible, because that's directly tied to how long we live. So I am going to be turning 47 this year. I have my period right now. My period is amazing. It's the same as always. My vision is the same as always. These kinds of things are related to our reproductive vitality, because our reproductive vitality is our life force as well, which is why there's such an intimate tie between how long we stay fertile and how long we live. And we know that women who live to 100 were 4 times more likely to have children in their 40s, and women who have children beyond the age of 33 naturally are twice as likely to live to the age of 95. And previously, women didn't live past menopause, and that's because the lifespan was much shorter, and health declines very rapidly after menopause, especially if it's not managed well. Okay, so this matters not just for making our super babies. Obviously, that's the focus, and that's how I designed it, but it matters for the long term as well. So you can resume after pregnancy and lactation, but you're going to pause the super egg support. You're also going to pause the melatonin, because we don't know if it's okay to take melatonin consistently during pregnancy. It's probably fine to use it periodically. Obviously, during pregnancy, you're not using it for egg quality anymore, but you might want to use it for sleep. But you don't want to be using it every single day, because there's just not enough research to validate that practice. So your super egg support, you'll pause completely. Your super melatonin, you'll pause and really only use sparingly as needed with your OB's clearance. You will pause the super DHEA with pregnenolone, because those are hormones. We don't want to be adding hormones once you're already pregnant. And then everything else, your super multi, if you have the complete mama bundle, your super multi and your super probiotic microbiome support, you continue that all the way through. In fact, they were designed to be the most powerful prenatal vitamin. We take it in the trimester pre-pregnancy, but you continue during pregnancy and then also during breastfeeding, and you can continue to use them as your multivitamin going forward, okay, once you've completed your family. So your complete mama bundle, or let me define what that is now. It's the super multi and the super probiotic microbiome support. So that's this one and this one. You continue during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Also, so it's a little bit hard to read. So this one you pause. This one is the super DHEA with pregnenolone. This one you pause with a positive pregnancy test as well. The super melatonin you pause with a positive pregnancy test as well. And then these are the same product, which is the second generation of our neural tube chromosomal and MTHFR support. It's called Super Neuro and MTHFR support. And neuro is for the brain and the neural tube, and then of course MTHFR and the chromosomes. So this one you continue during pregnancy, especially during the first trimester, but you can continue beyond that as well. And this one, the second generation of this one has methylated B6 in it, which is to support the body's own natural production of progesterone, which is really important for conceiving in the trimester, but also for pregnancy. And then the B6 is also really important for the management of morning sickness. Okay, so let's just recap. The other ones here I didn't talk about because they're the dada part of the ultimate egg and sperm collection. So let me just show you. The collection includes super egg support, super multi. I'm just telling you the mama part. Super probiotic microbiome support, super melatonin, super DHEA with pregnenolone, super neuro and MTHFR support. You take all of these in the trimester, and I'm going to show you a Cliff's Notes version of how to use them to get the most out of them, because we've been getting a lot of questions about that. I sent a summary via email, but I'm going to walk you through it as well later on. So, okay, so you take all of these in the trimester. Once you get your positive pregnancy test, you continue with everything except super egg support, super melatonin, and super DHEA with pregnenolone. Is everybody clear on that? Everybody clear on that? Okay, let me just check. Let me check. Okay. Oh, Mama Jennifer, I'm reading your message. Let me come. Okay, let me talk because we've been getting a lot of questions. Mama Erica asked about, but let me come. So first, let me just make sure. Did everybody understand what I just said about the nutrients that you need for the trimester, for your egg quality, ovarian reserve, and your fertility more broadly? And this is also for the health of the baby that you're going to make, right? Because the quality of the egg that gets released in ovulation and fertilized, and the quality of the sperm that gets released during intercourse and fertilizes the egg, that determines whether the pregnancy will be viable and the baby will be healthy. So all the things that we do in the trimester, the priming trimester leading up to conception, to improve egg quality, also ovarian reserve, because most of you have low AMH, which is an indicator of very low ovarian reserve. People also believe that low AMH is an indicator of poor egg quality, but we don't exactly have a direct measure of poor egg quality. But if you're not getting pregnant or staying pregnant, that is the indicator of poor egg quality, whether you're conceiving naturally or you're doing IVF. When you're doing IVF, you get a direct window into seeing that the egg quality is poor if the eggs don't fertilize, they don't make it to blastocyst stage, or the embryos are PGTA tested and they're not chromosomally normal. But other than that, we don't have a direct measure of egg quality. So everything that we do in the trimester to improve egg quality and ovarian reserve and sperm quality and other sperm parameters and the broader fertility system. Because remember, the raw material are the foundation, but the system is much greater than that. And the system has to be working properly. So everything that we're doing has to be done in the trimester so that the raw material that get released, the egg and the sperm, are healthy enough to produce a healthy baby. And for us, we're here to make the healthiest possible baby, the smartest possible baby, the happiest possible baby, the most resilient physiologically to stress and the ups and downs of day-to-day life and the demands of day-to-day life. That's why we call them our super babies. All right. So we've got to do those things in the trimester. So we're using these supplements to support those efforts in the trimester. Then once you get pregnant, there are certain nutrients that were amazing for egg quality and ovarian reserve and other aspects of your fertility system, pregnancy system, that you need to pause because we don't have enough scientific data on them in pregnancy and lactation. And for our formulations, that includes the super egg support because many of the nutrients in super egg support fall into that category. Insufficient data during pregnancy and lactation, and they're very powerful. Okay, so we need those powerful nutrients for the eggs and for the sperm because we share a lot of them in common because of the biological age of the cells. But we have to pause because we just don't know. We have insufficient data for pregnancy and lactation. So for us, that's the super egg support. That is the super DHEA with pregnenolone. That's not really so much about insufficient data. That is more of an issue of you don't want to be adding hormones to the mix because we don't want to disrupt the balance of pregnancy hormones. We don't know that it would, but we can't take any chances. So we always err on the side of caution. I will always tell you to err on the side of caution. The same thing goes for melatonin because melatonin is like a hormone. That's why you don't want to be taking it on a regular basis during pregnancy, with clearance from your doctor if you need it now and then because you're having trouble sleeping, which can be a pregnancy symptom. It's probably fine, but it's not something that you're going to be taking on a daily basis in the way that you were for egg quality and ovarian reserve and the follicular fluid and microenvironment, which is why we take it in the trimester. Okay, so that was just a recap. Let me just make sure does everybody understand that? Everybody clear? And then, like I said, once you get your positive pregnancy test, you don't have to remember everything. Just email us. We'll send you, we have a standard email. We'll send you with some important practical and emotional and psychological reminders to support you during that time. Okay. All right. So let's see. So it looks like people are asking for links to the super egg support and the ultimate egg and sperm collection. So team, can you take care of those things in the chat? And let me back up and say, just like last week, let's make sure that everything you need gets taken care of here on the session, because the outreach that we try to do after is just, it's going on endlessly for weeks at a time. And it's just not, we're not able to serve you in the way that we want to doing that. So let us take care of what you need while we're here together. Let's see. All right. So, okay. So that was just a recap. So that's for you, Mama Simi. And then everybody else, if you're pregnant now, as soon as you get your positive pregnancy test, that's for you too. All right. Now, let's go back to Mama Erica was asking about the melatonin. Okay, let's talk about the melatonin. So there are certain things that you have to be very careful about using properly and dosing properly. So melatonin is one of those things. I'm gonna explain that to you in just a second. And for example, we just added 2 new ingredients to the super egg support. We added a very potent antioxidant called glutathione. It's a master antioxidant. It's incredible. And we also added decaffeinated green tea extract. Now, I had to be very cautious about adding the green tea extract because that's an example of a nutrient that can be used improperly. And it has antioxidant and other properties that are beneficial for the egg cells and also for sperm cells. But it can, through a series of reactions at a certain threshold of dosing, create hormonal imbalances. So I had to take a lot of time to make sure that I had exactly the right dosage before I was willing to put it in. We have put it in at the perfect dose so that you get all of the benefits. But the reason why I'm telling you that is because I want you to be very cautious of other things that you might be taking that have it in there, and the people who are creating those formulations or determining the doses do not understand the nuances of fertility, hormonal balance, reproductive health, and the intergenerational transmission of health. This is not something to be taken lightly, and it really upsets me when I see things out there and I see recommendations and I see supplements being sold and the ingredients are not the right ingredients, or the doses or the combination are not the right thing, the forms, so many things. Okay, so I'm very excited that we added those two and I'm ingredients, and I'm also working very hard to add what I believe will be the final ingredient. I will as soon as we get new data and we see that this is something that we should add in there, we will. And this is something that I want to add in there, and I'm working really hard to do it. This one ingredient alone adds $150 to making each bottle. So as you can imagine, these are such premium ingredients. That's why the formulation costs so much money. It's not like we're making it and then we're jacking up the price like crazy. It costs us so much money to make formulations of this caliber. I I I believe that's why there's no other company in the world that makes formulations of this caliber, because it's, it's a little bit insane to make a supplement that costs you so many hundreds of dollars to make every single bottle. But I in good conscience can't make something that is lesser than I have the knowledge to make. And so that's why I have gone ahead and made the formulations that I've made, even though it's very different from what you see in the rest of the world. Okay. And by the way, don't get nervous. Those of you who are already subscribed to the Super Egg Support or the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Bundle, we will continue to honor your subscription price even now with the addition of these two amazing ingredients. And once we can get that additional ingredient that I want to get in there. I'm also trying to keep the capsule count down as much as possible. But when you have a formulation that has 39 and ultimately it will be 40 ingredients, and it may continue to grow from there as the research evolves, because I'm committed to that, then it's almost impossible to keep the capsule count very low. But in my estimation, the benefits that we get to our eggs and our reproductive system are well worth it. Okay, so green tea extract is one of those things that you really have to know what you're doing in terms of the dosing. So make sure in your Super Egg Support, you have the exact correct dose. Be careful if you're using it, if it happens to be in any other supplements that you're using. Now, melatonin is also something that you have to make sure you have exactly the right dose. So let me explain. If you are doing IVF, then probably you're fine at whatever dose of melatonin you choose to use. It's a very powerful antioxidant. And by the way, if you're coming down with something, you could really take a lot of melatonin to help you fight that thing. So, but that's not something that you want to do on a regular basis. But if you feel yourself coming down with something, you can take more melatonin. I mean, sometimes maybe even up to 20 milligrams or 30 milligrams. That's a very, very high dose, by the way. And that's only something you would do periodically if you're fighting something, because it's that powerful of an antioxidant. Now, when it comes to fertility, the established dose for egg quality and follicular fluid is 3 milligrams per day. You take it at night. Now, at that dosage, you're safe whether you're conceiving naturally or, and you're absolutely safe if you're conceiving via IVF, because like I said, you could probably even go higher, but you don't need to go higher for IVF because the studied dose is 3 milligrams. So that should be entirely sufficient for egg quality and the follicular microenvironment. The reason why Mama Erica is asking this question is because I've cautioned that for those of you who are conceiving naturally, there are 5 to 10% of you, 5 to 10% of women on average, who, if taking melatonin at a level above 9 milligrams per day, could disrupt their own ovulation, and it acts almost as a contraceptive. Now, please don't use melatonin as a contraceptive because you can't rely on it. And it's only 5 to 10% of women for whom this will be applicable. But as long as you're not exceeding 9 milligrams per day, that you don't run that risk. But if you're exceeding 9 milligrams, there is a certain percentage of women for whom it could interfere with ovulation, which means that if you are trying to conceive naturally and you're suppressing ovulation, obviously that's not going to work. At the dose that we have it in the super melatonin, which is the 3 milligrams that has the strongest scientific support behind it. So all of the doses, all of the ingredients, all of the forms of the ingredients, all of the combinations all have strong scientific support behind them. That's why they're in there. So at the 3 milligram dose, which is the scientifically validated dose, you don't run the risk of that, not even that 5 to 10% of women. It's above 9 milligrams, so 10 milligrams or higher, especially when taken for a prolonged period of time, okay? So as long as you're sticking to the 3 milligrams per day, which is just one capsule at night before bed, then you're safe whether you're conceiving naturally or you're doing IVF, and you also have the optimal dose for improving egg quality in the follicular microenvironment for both natural conception and IVF. Is that clear, everybody? I know that's a lot of information, and some of the ideas or concepts are a little bit complex, but just make sure, let me know that everybody understood that. Let me see. Okay. You're so welcome, Mama Erica. So you're safe. That's why we added the super melatonin to the ultimate egg and sperm bundle, because all of the nutrients here were designed to support egg quality and ovarian reserve and ovarian function and the follicular fluid and the biological age of the egg cells and all of the body cells. That's also why they can be protective against cancers and other diseases. Now, the reason why, so actually those of you who have been around for a while probably know that as we've been moving into the second generation of our super baby nutraceuticals, I've been working really hard to streamline the regimen as much as possible. And what I really wanted was to put everything into one bottle, one capsule for you. You might have had to have taken 20 capsules from that one bottle per day, but at least it would be so simple. Everything would be right there. But there are good reasons why they've been separated the way that they have. So the super multi has been separated because you need to take it in the trimester, but you also need to continue it throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding in the postpartum period. The super probiotic microbiome support you also need to take in the trimester and continue through pregnancy, postpartum, and breastfeeding. But the types of strains that we have in this probiotic that have the most support for fertility and pregnancy and women's reproductive health cannot survive in the capsule that we use for the super multi, nor for the bottle. That's why this bottle is different, because it's a special bottle that preserves the strains, and they also have special capsules. Okay, so that's why those two things are separate. Now, the reason why the super multi and the super probiotic microbiome support aren't combined with the super egg support is because even though you need all of those in the trimester, you have to stop the super egg support during pregnancy and lactation. So that's why that's separated. And we didn't add in the super melatonin to the super egg support because, number one, it can make you sleepy if you take it during the day. So it's better taken at night, whereas your super egg support nutrients can give you a lot of energy, and not like jittery energy, but they'll give you more energy. So you want to be taking those throughout the day, and we recommend split dosing because it's a pretty large dose, and so it's helpful to separate it over 3 times a day. I'll show that to you in just a minute. And then the same thing with the super DHEA with pregnenolone. Even though it is just like the melatonin and just like the super egg support, it's an egg quality and ovarian reserve nutrient. We didn't add it into the super egg support because, not because you have to stop it. You have to stop the super egg support once you're pregnant, because you also need to stop the super DHEA with pregnenolone once you're pregnant. But the super DHEA with pregnenolone isn't appropriate for everyone because it's not recommended for women with PCOS. So that's why that's not added to the super egg support formula. Okay. All right. So I just want you to know that the way that the nutrients have been formulated, the things that are put together for a reason, and the things that are separated from each other are separated for a reason. I have thought through every single detail for you. That's a lot of detail, so you probably won't remember it. It says it all on the bottle, by the way. So when you look on the front of the bottle, let me show you. Okay, so can you see this? Hold on, let me stop my screen share. Okay. So hold on, so I can show you this. Okay, so when you receive your super baby, I just got a new shipment of our super poops, which is so amazing. Oh, I don't think I had an updated photo of the ultimate egg and sperm collection because it contains the super poops as well. Okay, so when you receive your super baby nutraceuticals, for your privacy, it will come in a plain unmarked box, and the only thing it will say is, I'm gonna not show my address, but when you look, can you see the label? So when you receive it, all it will say is FPI. Okay, that's all it will say, and our address, the address of our distribution center, which is in Florida. Okay, so it's unmarked for your privacy. So it doesn't say the Fertility and Pregnancy Institute, so that you just for your privacy. It just says FPI. It's in this brown unmarked box. And then when you open it, okay, so this is our super poops. you can see, let me put this down so I can show you a little bit better. Okay. So I don't know if you'll be able to read. Oh, it's probably not easy to read because there's a little bit of a glare. But what you see right here under the, okay, so the name is here, Super Poops. Right under the name, it tells you when it's appropriate for use. So for, like, for example, for the for this one, it says for before pregnancy and after lactation and beyond. Now, this is one where we have it labeled as kind like the super egg support for before pregnancy, after lactation and beyond, because one of the ingredients in here does not have a lot of research during pregnancy and lactation. However, it is a form of magnesium, and it is a specific form of magnesium that oxygenates the gut and the intestines, and is the way it works is that it helps to draw oxygen and water in to the intestine to make sure that the intestines remain lubricated. There are a number of other benefits and mechanisms through which this works. But the reality is that if you get clearance from your OB, you can continue to use this during pregnancy. And if you, and it's a godsend because pregnancy comes with pretty severe constipation often because of the higher progesterone levels. So it can be really, really helpful to have this. You just have to make sure that you don't exceed the upper limit of magnesium if you take this during pregnancy. All right. Now, this magnesium is a little bit different because it doesn't, the way it works, it doesn't get into the cell receptors as much. So the upper limit is a little bit different, but just to be safe, as long as you get clearance from your doctor, you can continue to use this one during pregnancy and during lactation as well. But we list it as for use before pregnancy and after lactation and beyond, just as a safeguard in case people aren't talking to their doctors and getting clearance. This is the only supplement that I know of that is life-changing from the first dose. And those of you who have already tried it, you can attest to what I'm saying, because most supplements, including the Super Egg Support, which is the most potent supplement formulation on the planet, you'll start to feel some things immediately. Your skin will look amazing. You'll feel more clarity. You'll feel more calm. Those are the kinds of notes we've been getting. We've been getting amazing notes. But in terms of the egg quality and the ovarian reserve and the AMH and all of those things, it needs months to accrue, at least 4 months to accrue those effects, right? So even something as life-changing as that, you don't feel it immediately. But with this is the only supplement formulation I know of that from the very first time you take it, it is life-changing. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so what I wanted to point out to you is that if you look at the label and you follow the instructions, you will always know, because on the label, it will tell you when it's appropriate for use. So it will say, for example, the Super Multi, which I have here as well. Hold on. Do I have it in front of me? I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, oh yes, I have it in front of me. Okay. So the Super Multi, it's good because it's a little bit bigger. Maybe you can see better. Oh, not really. Okay, so this says for before, during, and after pregnancy. So you know this is one that takes you from the trimester to pregnancy to postpartum and breastfeeding. And like I said, this was designed to be the world's most potent prenatal vitamin. It has 100% of the RDAs for nearly all nutrients, several key nutrients that have different recommendations for optimal dosing in the scientific literature and from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. it has the even higher doses than the RDA for those. Based on those recommendations, this thing is absolutely incredible. Okay. All right. So so it tells you when it's safe for use. It tells you some of the benefits. There's not a lot of space to put an exhaustive list, but it gives you 4 bullet points of some of the key benefits. And then on the back, it gives you instructions. So for example, the Super Multi says, take 5 capsules per day or as directed by your healthcare provider. Split dosing recommended, for example, 2 capsules with breakfast and lunch, 1 capsule with dinner. And then it also tells you that it's been made in a facility that's FDA and CGMP compliant. It's non-GMO, it's dairy-free, it's gluten-free, it's soy-free. So you can see all of the details that you could ever want about the products are on the label. So when in doubt, just look at the label, but also if you have questions, and then as soon as you get your positive pregnancy test, let us send you all the reminders, okay? Let me see. Is everybody clear on how to find the information you need to know exactly what to do with your supplements? I'm going to give you a Cliff's Notes version of how to use your supplements to get maximum return on those supplements. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that there are people who are starting the Super Egg Support, and they are trying to, because of the cost, which I understand is high, but you know that there's a good reason why the cost is high. If just one nutrient in there is over $100 per bottle, then you can understand why 39, 40 nutrients has to be $1,000 per bottle. It's no joke. This isn't the Super Egg Support. I'm holding up the Super Multi. This one is also several $100s to make. Okay, so it's not as much as the Super Egg Support, but because we can't add those very specialty nutrients for the eggs, because you can't continue during pregnancy, so they're separated. But when you look at the bottle, it tells you when it's appropriate for use, why it's important to use, how to use it, and then you can also email us if you have any questions. And so I have seen people getting the Super Egg Support, and they're buying it on subscription because we gave them a code for $150 savings on subscription. But then they're pausing because what they're doing is the dosage is 10 capsules, now 11 capsules, because we added 2 more nutrients that I wanted to add to it and wanted to make sure I had the dosing right. And then soon we'll be adding a 3rd one, and we probably will have to increase the capsule count as well with that 3rd one. So because let's say it's 10 or 11 capsules, what they're doing is, taking a 1/3 of that or a half of that to spread it out so that the product lasts longer. But the problem is that you're not getting the full benefit if you do that, because the ingredients are picked so carefully, the forms of the ingredients, but also the dosages. Because if you take a 1/3 of the dose, then you're not getting the therapeutic level of the nutrients that give you the full effect. And so I understand that it's expensive, but it's not advisable to do that, okay? If you've got to give yourself at least 4 months with these nutrients. And really, in some cases, you might want to be on them for 6 months or however long it takes, but you've got to at least allow the effects to accrue over 4 months, okay? At least 4 months, and probably ideally 6 months. There's just, unfortunately, in fertility, in super baby making, and in life in general, there aren't quick fixes. I'm doing my best to provide the most comprehensive, powerful, high level, nuanced solutions in the trimester protocol, in our formulations, but they take time. It doesn't happen overnight. So don't do yourself a disservice by, skimping on the dose, because then you're not getting the full effect. And it just doesn't make any sense, because it just prolongs the suffering that you're going through. And, I think, eh, I grew up really poor, so I'm really sensitive to the fact that when things cost as much as our supplements do, that not everybody can access them. I'm not, I have sadness about that, but I have the utmost faith and pride in the fact that God gave me the brain that has the ability to put pieces together that nobody else in the world does, and that God gave me the brain that has the ability to understand how these nutrients work and work synergistically, and exactly what forms and doses need to be in there. And this is what it takes. This is what it costs to make them. So I can't put out there anything that's lesser than what I know to make. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, we tried to create a $50 um prenatal vitamin, and I just couldn't in good conscience release it. I just couldn't. Like, it's not doing you or your babies justice. And there are lots of other companies putting that crap out there. I don't need to be another one just because it would be a better price point that would sell more units, and that we could take onto Amazon and sell a whole bunch. I just can't. I couldn't do it. I tried, believe me, I tried so hard, and I couldn't get the formula. I couldn't get the formula right at that price. There was like no way I couldn't do it. So I've done what I know is best for you. And don't sell yourself short. Don't sell your babies short. When your super babies are here, like whatever you're paying for the super egg support or the ultimate egg and sperm collection is a tiny, tiny fraction of what it's going to cost to take care of your super babies. And that includes when they're little, when they've just arrived. They don't need much, but there's childcare, their diapers, there, lots of doctor's bills from the birth, and all the pediatrician visits and all of those things. And then as they get older, it just gets more and more and more expensive. But that's part of raising our super babies, is that we figure it out and we do whatever it takes. And if you're in a parenting life cycle club, I highly recommend a session that Jair, my husband, and I did, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe, where we talked about managing finances with a growing family. So use that if that's helpful for you. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm so glad Mama PC asked a question, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you. So Mama PC asked, can the super poops be added to the ultimate egg and sperm bundle, the PCOS edition? So it should be in there. If it's not, team, revise that and send the revision. And if you've been able to make some codes for the mamas, apply the codes to that, whatever you have there. Now, I want to speak into something that Mama PC said. So because I don't recommend the super pregnenolone with the super DHEA with pregnenolone for PCOS, we created a version of the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection PCOS edition. It has everything else, because everything else is appropriate for PCOS, but it does not have the super DHEA with pregnenolone. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Mama Erica, you were asking, I need help what options I have to adjust my current bundle. I sent an email. Okay. Okay, you waited and the call dropped. Okay. Mama Erica, so why don't you put in the chat exactly what this may be relevant to others of you, so let me articulate the question since I was just kind of reading part of it. So Mama Erica has an existing bundle that's not the ultimate egg and sperm collection. So she wants to upgrade her bundle. So she needs help doing that. I don't think you can do that by yourself. I don't have a clue actually how you would do that by yourself. So let the team help you with that. So if that's relevant to you too, mamas, then put in and Mama Erica, put in the chat what your existing bundle is and what bundle, I assume it's the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection that you want to upgrade to, and let the team figure out how they do that. I don't know anything about that, the back end of that to be able to tell you the answer, but I'm sure Raina and Pawan do know how to do that. So let them take care of that for you. And if there's anybody else for whom that's relevant, let us know the same information and also your contact information in case they have to contact you after. Team, try to do this now on the call so people get what they need right here and right now, so that there's not that ongoing follow-up, which it's been really hard on the team to try to manage it, and they can't get through it fast enough because there's so many hundreds of follow-ups to do. So try to get that handled now for Mama Erica and anybody else who says that they need it, okay? And one other note is that if you have the current Super Egg Support subscription, make sure that it's current so that because we do have to raise the price with the addition of ingredients. So make sure yours is current, not paused, not canceled, so that you can continue to have that initial rate that you had, which was when there were slightly fewer ingredients. And we will try to continue. I don't know for sure if we will be able to, but we'll try to continue to honor that also when we add that additional ingredient, which is so premium and so powerful. And I really want it in there. We're just trying to see how many I'm trying to only increase by one more capsule, because I know for some of you, it feels a little daunting to take a certain number of capsules per day. I want you to have a little bit of a mindset shift about it. For me, it's no thing whatsoever. And I do for a very small number of people, I do custom formulations. I have some people who take 40 capsules a day in their custom formulations. Now, we cover every single thing in one bottle, and it's really easy, and they can just take 10 capsules 4 times a day, and it's no big thing. But I know that not everybody's comfortable with that. Okay, so I'm doing my best to keep the capsule count as conservative as possible, but I'm not going to skimp on the ingredients or the doses just for that. Okay, so let me see. I think there was, let's see. Okay, so the team has sent mamas, if you want to lock in the existing price for the Super Egg Support before the additional the increase in the price because of the additional ingredients, that the team has given you a link as well as a code for savings on your subscription. The team is has also linked for you the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection, which has absolutely everything you could possibly need. With that, there is nothing else that you need. There is nothing else that you need, okay? So that it has everything that you need, and also everything that your partner needs if you have a male partner. Now, let me say something about this. Because the second generation of the male part of that is amazing. It's called the sperm and testosterone support, the super sperm and testosterone support. It has everything that's already exists in the dada part in one, and we were even able to put the probiotic strains into that. There's a specific reason why we can do that for the dadas, but we can't do that for the mamas, and it's about the transition to pregnancy. Okay, so when we are doing the super sperm and testosterone support, everything that's in the existing dada part is in there. Plus, there are a number of more than a dozen incredible enhancements for biological age reduction and so many other aspects of male reproductive health. So that is going to now, that one product is now going to be $750 per month. But if you have an existing subscription for the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection or the Complete Mama and Dada bundle, we will continue to honor that price. We will try to continue to honor it indefinitely, but we will continue to honor it for sure for the next 6 months. We've made a commitment to do that, okay? So if you want to subscribe now, make sure you subscribe now. If you're subscribed but you paused, make sure you reactivate. If you subscribed and you canceled, make sure you reactivate so that you have that the pricing that you already had locked in before we go to the second generation pricing. You'll still receive the second generation product as soon as it starts shipping. All right, let me see. What else do we have here? So many questions. Okay, so Mama Erica, for the super poops, you use it as needed, but most of you will find that you want to use it daily, and that you start with just, hold on, let me pull my slides back up. I want to show you visually. It's easier for you to see. Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, let me see. Okay, so this is a few slides that I prepared for you about how to take your fertility supplements and prenatal vitamins. So everything that's in the Ultimate Egg and Sperm collection to get the most out of them. So I'll go over this, but let me go to the super poops. So what you do with super poops is that you take as many capsules as you need before bed, or distributed throughout the day, whatever works best for your digestive system. So super poops works through a number of mechanisms, including electrolyte balance, detoxification, liver function, digestion, supporting the microbiome. I mean, supporting a calm stress and resilient stress response. It is a really powerful formulation. It also supports about 300 cellular processes in the body, including for the egg and sperm cells. So it's a very powerful formulation. But the thing that's life-changing that you will feel immediately is that your digestion will work so much better than it ever has. And so it's really individual how many you need to reach the point where you have like your happiest poops possible. And that really should be your gauge. So what you're looking for is when you wake up in the morning, as soon as you wake up, you have a bowel movement. It's complete and it feels right for your body. And then the next level is that every time you eat, you have a bowel movement, because that's really how it's supposed to be. Food in, waste out. And it really helps to protect against bloating and all kinds of gastrointestinal discomfort, but also that communication along the gut-brain axis. So start with, it's very powerful, very powerful. So start with one capsule at night before bed and increase by one capsule daily until you have your super poops. Okay, so for some of you, one will be enough. For some of you, two or three will be enough. Some of you who have very severe constipation, your motility is low, your body holds on to things and it's dry and you don't have a lot of lubrication and all of those things. I mean, people could need up to 10 of these a day. It's rare, but people could need, or even more, 10 or 12 of these a day. Okay, so uh, you just start with one and see what works for your body. Now, let's say you get to 3 capsules in the evening, and that seems to be the right amount for you, because if you only take 2, you're not having your happiest poops possible. But it feels a little too urgent when you wake up in the morning, meaning like you wake up and you need to run to the bathroom. Then one thing that you can do, so you know you've got the amount that you're taking, right? But you can spread it out so that it happens a little bit more gently. So in that case, you might try, taking one when you get home in the afternoon or evening, and then 2 before bed, or take 1 in the morning and 2 before bed. So just experiment. Most of you will take what you need before bed, and that'll be great. Some of you will want to spread it out. Okay. And something that's interesting is that children also can get constipated very easily, and so can babies. And so when you're using this, and let's say, you're breastfeeding and you've been cleared to use it during breastfeeding, it can also help your baby if your baby is constipated. And you can also use this with children. You would just open the capsule and put it into a smoothie or some orange juice or whatever, whatever you want. My super babies drink kombucha, so you could put it in kombucha. But obviously you have to, play around with the dose and make sure that the dose is right for the age and size of the child. Okay. All right, so that is the information on the super poops. Do you all want me to continue and just go over this list here? Let me see. Let me look at the notes to make sure. Oh, thank you so much, Mama Simi. You are such a blessing, and your super baby is such a blessing. I'm so excited. Can you make a pregnancy safe protocol for cold and flus? Okay, that's a really good idea. So I made an amazing, I don't know, we don't know the exact name yet. We haven't printed the labels for it, but it's a viral load reduction support formulation. So it supports the immune system in managing viruses that you get exposed to, as well as viruses that sexually transmitted viruses and other types of viruses that have outbreaks. So human papilloma virus, so if anybody's had an abnormal pap smear, that's caused by the HPV, the human papilloma virus, or herpes, or Epstein-Barr virus, I'm always afraid to say the word, but exposure to viruses that have long-term effects, including a newer virus that we've all been exposed to in the last few years, those kinds of things. So it's a very potent formula. And I think that it's interesting that you said that, Mama Simi, because I struggled a little bit with the finalization of the formula, because I wanted it to be pregnancy safe, but it wasn't as strong as it could be being pregnancy safe. It is fertility safe, but I think I ended up going with a fertility safe version that's stronger and can't be used during pregnancy. So we could go back and remove those ingredients and make the slightly less powerful version that is pregnancy safe. So that's something I could do, Mama Simi, we have a lot of interest. By the way, we did a survey on our last call. We did two. One of them was for where we want to add some natural scents to our formulations. And I just want it to be a beautiful sensory experience when you take them. And then we also did a survey to see which of our formulations that are on deck for release you would like for us to prioritize. I'm going to share those results with you via email. If you haven't voted yet, be sure to vote so that we take your vote into account. Now, we did have 3 people say that they would rather that we didn't have any scents because they're sensitive. I think the scents are very benign. They're supernatural. And I think I'm still inclined to go ahead with the scents, at least for a couple of the formulations. But if you fill out the survey and you're concerned about scents, let us know. They're all natural, and because most of our taste happens through our nose, which is why when people got COVID, that virus I was just talking about, and lost their sense of smell, they also couldn't taste food very much. So even though they're scents, it also affects the flavor of the capsules, and it's all natural. It's totally safe. So I don't think that even sensitive people will have any issues with them. It was a very small percentage of people, but I believe there were, I reviewed all of them. I believe there were 3 people who were a little concerned because they're very sensitive. So if you haven't voted already, make sure to vote. We'll send out the links again to give everybody one more chance to vote. And then I'll report back to you on the winners. And then maybe among the winners, we'll ask for an additional vote, possibly. We'll see. Okay, let's see. But Mama Simi, I think we can do that. Let me, maybe I should add that to the list for people to vote on. Let's see what else we have here. Mama Latoya, it's probably safe to drink decaffeinated green tea while you're taking super egg support. I mean, I don't know how much of it you're drinking, but it's probably a relatively small quantity in a tea, so it's okay. What I ended up doing was I very carefully researched the threshold, and then I reduced it even a little bit from there so that there was room for people to consume things, teas and other things in their day-to-day life and still be below the threshold where it can cause a problem, okay? And the problem is it's a bit of a nuanced picture, and there are indirect pathways, but it can indirectly disrupt hormonal balance, the opposite of what we're seeking to achieve, if it exceeds a certain threshold. So that's why I dosed it just under the threshold and gave a little bit of a margin of error for people's lifestyles. So I think you should be totally fine there. Okay. Oh, and somebody was asking about which mama. Let me see if I can go back. A lot of messages have come in. Okay. So Mama Tony was asking about dryness. So one of the formulations that we asked you all to vote on is a fertility-friendly aphrodisiac, and we have ingredients in there to help. I'm assuming you mean vaginal dryness, so we have ingredients in there to help. Also, the super sperm and testosterone support, when testosterone is naturally becomes higher, it also can increase libido, and then it also has some libido supporting ingredients in there as well. I didn't put them in there specifically to support libido, but because they support sperm parameters and testosterone, they're in there as well. So I think that's important because the reason why I wanted to create the fertility friendly aphrodisiac is because I hear constantly about couples really struggling to be in the mood to engage in intercourse for a number of reasons, and some of them are related to fertility and some of them are unrelated to fertility. So on the fertility side, what I hear is that people feel like they've been having so much sex to try to get pregnant that they're a little burnt out of having so much sex. And the other thing is that for a lot of people who have been trying to get pregnant for a long time before coming to these resources, what happens is that intercourse and intimacy, it starts to have a very like mixed feelings, because of course it's a way of expressing love and affection and connection to your partner, assuming that you're having a baby in the context of a partnership. And yet, and it used to be something that you enjoyed and that brought you together and that was exciting, but now it's become associated with feelings of failure and feelings of sadness and a reminder of things that aren't working, because it hasn't been working to have a baby. And so there's a kind of a lot of trauma around intimacy and intercourse that can make it really hard to have desire to have intercourse and to really like to be open. And obviously from a practical logistical perspective, we need you to have sex in order to conceive if you're conceiving naturally. So we need you to be ready to have intercourse on those critical days. And I teach you exactly what those days are in the trimester protocol in step 2 or module 2. So if you're not trimestering, you need that piece of the puzzle as well. But you also need the desire and the openness. And the other thing is that, in the birth world, they say that the energy that brought in and made the child is also the same energy that helps to birth the child and bring the child out into the world. And so they really encourage intimacy and touch and cuddling and even intercourse, especially if a baby's overdue and they're trying to initiate labor and all of those things, but to be calm and grounded and for the body to open. And I think the same thing for our super babies, that that energy of passion and receptivity and openness and creativeness is the same energy that welcomes in our super babies and helps us to receive them. So as much as possible, I want this formulation to support those two goals, logistically and also emotionally, and opening up. And I always say that the energies of survival and creation oppose one another. So when we're living in a state of survival and emergency and stress and trauma, and whether it's little t or big T trauma, it's very hard to be in the energy of creation. That energy of creation is expansive, it's receptive, it's generative. Those are all things that that are involved in us receiving our super babies. And maybe that sounds a little woo-woo or not scientific, but it's actually very scientific, because what we know is that fundamentally what we need in order for our raw materials, our eggs, our sperm, the uterus, the immune system, the digestive system, the full fertility and pregnancy system, those are all the raw materials that go into making our babies, making our super babies. And at the most basic level, in order for those raw materials to be the very healthiest that they can be, we need one thing. And it's one thing that nobody ever tells you. You haven't heard this from your reproductive endocrinologist, your OB/GYN, any fertility coach on the internet or Instagram. And it is this. It is a signal of safety. The brain, the body, the ovaries, the vagina, the birth, which is the birth canal, the entire root need to register signals of safety. That is the foundation of creating healthy eggs and a healthy reproductive system more broadly. Okay, so that is why these things are important, even if they sound a little bit more woo. It's very scientific because you have to remember that every experience that we have in life, both internal and external, every thought, every emotion, every social interaction, whether it's online or in person, every experience that we have in a day has a biochemical underpinning and sends a biochemical signal. And that biochemical signal is either one of safety or it's one of survival. And that is where the dichotomy comes in. If we're in the energy, the biochemical signal of survival, we are opposing the biochemical signal of creation and safety. Okay, so fundamentally, that's what we're doing when we're creating healthy eggs and greater ovarian reserve so that we can get pregnant, stay pregnant, and have our super babies. We have to achieve one thing, which is ensuring a lack of abnormality. And in order to do that, fundamentally, we need the brain, body, ovaries, vagina, which is the birth canal, and the entire root to register signals of safety. Okay, that's why I say that fertility struggles with getting pregnant, staying pregnant, and having a healthy baby are fundamentally struggles of worthiness and belonging, because without a sense of worthiness, we don't feel like we belong. We don't know where we belong. We don't feel like we fully belong, and we are never fully safe. We never feel fully safe. Okay, so when we're talking about nutrients, like we've been talking about here, which, by the way, we haven't even gotten into the material exactly that I had prepared for you today, but that's okay. We've been covering important things, and we'll cover a little bit and then we'll do another session, so that's no problem. I'll also start sending you some of this on email before, so you can have it, and then we'll come together and talk about it. But when we talk about nutrients, the reason why they're so critical is because they are one of the easiest ways to send the biochemical signal of safety. When we have ample nutrients, the right nutrients through food and supplementation, the brain, body, ovaries, vagina, uterus, every part of the fertility and pregnancy system register the signal of safety. We don't feel like we are in a state of threat to our safety and threat to our survival. So it's one of the easiest ways and direct ways to send the signal of safety. And they also act on so many different pathways and mechanisms, and all of those things are important, but fundamentally they send the signal of safety. They help to reduce the risk of abnormality. And I want to say something about the abnormality in just a second. Let me say that, and then I'll come back to showing you this Cliff's Notes version of how you take everything that's in your ultimate egg and sperm bundle. Okay, the other way that you send the signal of safety, one of the most profound ways, is through psychogenomics, which means psychological and personality and other identity related impacts on our epigenetics or our gene expression. Okay, so nutrigenomics and psychogenomics. Those are two of the most critical and direct pathways for sending the signals of safety. And when they have problems, they are the most profound pathways through which the signal of lack of safety gets sent, which is why we focus so much on them in the trimester protocol, and which is why we focus on them in our super baby nutraceuticals formulations. Okay, there's a reason for that. It's not just to have something to give you. There's a reason why. These are the two most important things to look at. Let me, I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Let's talk about this for just a second. Let me see what questions have come in, because I know I've covered a lot of information. So let me just make sure you're all following me. Mama Erica, let the team combine all of your subscriptions, because when you bundle, you also get a better price. Okay, so bundle to get the better price. Let the team put everything together into one for you, and they'll give you a code that will give you some savings as well. Okay. You're so welcome, Mama Robin. It is true, and nobody talks about these things, but we need to. We have to. Okay, let me see. I know I talked about a lot. Were there any questions about all the things that I just talked about? Let's see. Okay. Mama Isabel's here. Hello, Mama Isabel. Your cycles are now very irregular. Okay, so we've got to get on that right away, because when that happens, that means that soon you'll be crossing the threshold to menopause. But the good thing is that we can back out. So not indefinitely, obviously, we're all going to go through menopause. We want to, because we want to live that long, etc. But if we catch it early enough, we've even been able to back out of a pretty well established menopause, women who haven't had cycles for 4 years, 6 years, I think up to 15 years has been our record so far. But right now, you haven't crossed the threshold, but it's starting to move in that direction. So we need to get on that right now. So if you don't, I think you're partnered, Mama Isabel. So do the ultimate egg and sperm collection, because the nutrients in there, and especially, I mean, I hate to say especially, because I don't know, actually, I don't know why I said hate, because we don't say that word in our family. So I don't want to say especially, because it's hard to pick one or the other, but especially the nutrients in the super egg support we know, have a lot of research to show that, because they work at the level of mTOR inhibition and a number of other pathways that reduce the biological age of cells, including the egg cells. And many of those same nutrients, by the way, are important for reducing the biological age of sperm cells. So there's some overlap between the super egg support and the super sperm and testosterone support formula that's coming. We know that formulation and those pathways can help to extend ovarian function by up to 20% and delay the onset of menopause by up to 5 years. So you got to get all over that right away. So the DHEA with pregnenolone is really important, the melatonin, but the super egg support, the super multi has the things we all need. It's separated from super egg support for the reasons I said earlier, because super egg support needs to be stopped with pregnancy. All right, let me talk about, I think, okay, let's see. Okay, you just got the help you needed. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, mamas, try to get the help that you need here while we're together. It's easier, okay? That way you get it. This is all time sensitive, what we're doing. So if you can get it here, you get it in a time sensitive fashion Whereas if it's after, it kind of goes on. We've tried, it goes on and on and on. We have spreadsheets, we are working the spreadsheets, we're trying, it's very complex. So get what you need right here. That's a lot better for everyone. Okay, let's see. So let's talk about the abnormality. Okay, so remember, abnormality is the thing that we have to prevent. And abnormality is an issue throughout the reproductive span, even for younger women, but it becomes more and more of an issue because of the aging of our egg cells and our sperm cells. And even though men are always producing new sperm cells, age still affects the sperm cells of men. So we don't talk about the fertility declines that happen with age for men, but they do as well. It's not as steep as it is for women, but it's relevant, it's present as well. Okay. So this is really important. Actually, I'm just gonna, do I need to show you this? I don't think so. Let me just stop that so I can I feel like I get to like talk to you face to face when I take the slides off. So what most people don't understand is that a number of outcomes share in common the same root cause, and that root cause is abnormality. And these are the outcomes that share that root cause in common. The failure to get pregnant in the first place, so if you're not getting pregnant, the failure for fertilization to happen when egg and sperm meet, the failure of a fertilized egg to divide and grow, the failure to be able to stay pregnant, especially miscarriage, earlier pregnancy losses, and the inability to have a healthy baby. All of those share at their root abnormality. And this originates in the raw material of the egg and the sperm. Okay, so why is this important? This is important because once the egg is released in ovulation and the sperm is released in ejaculation, and then they meet, we have lost most of our power to change anything, because they already are what they're going to be, and they've already come together to be what they're going to be. We have to do the work in the trimester leading up to conception and far enough out that we have enough time to shape the final maturation process of the egg that will be released in upcoming ovulation and the sperm that will be released. Now, we need slightly less time for the sperm. The sperm, we need up to 92 or 96 days. I don't remember off the top of my head which one it is. So somewhere between 72 and 96 days. So let's choose the outer edge to make sure we've caught everything. So I think it's 96 days. And then for the egg, we need at least 120 days, okay? All right, so that's why the trimester is 120 days. Our power to improve the quality of those raw materials happens before they complete their maturation process and are released. So that's why we have to do this work now in order to prevent abnormality. So there's emerging research that shows that the predominant outcome of fertilization is miscarriage. Did everybody understand what that means? That the predominant outcome of fertilization is miscarriage, meaning that a fertilized egg results in miscarriage more often than it results in a healthy baby in the average population. This is not even talking about a fertility and quote unquote infertility population, which we don't use that word. So let's say a fertility struggle population. That is in the average population. We saw that, we've seen that with very diverse samples, a Mormon sample at the turn of the century and a present day Danish sample. In the Mormon sample, there were an average of over 16 pregnancies. I think it was 16.8 pregnancies and only 8 births. In the Danish sample, there were 2.1 miscarriages for every 1.7 children, okay? And that's in the general population. So that just shows you that abnormality is so common and it's common across age groups. So we're all here primestering to overcome, for the most part, you're here to overcome challenges because you've been told that you have challenges. But thank God you're here, because in the average population, that is what's happening. So we need to be combating the likelihood of abnormality long before conception occurs. And that's why we use the trimester and we use the pathway of sending the signals of safety to protect against abnormality. And like I said before, our two most direct and powerful pathways to signal safety are through psychogenomics and nutrigenomics. Psychogenomics, you've got to have the trimester protocol to cover all of that. The nutrigenomics, you have the information covered in the trimester protocol, but you need the supplements in order to address that. And you also need food, right? Supplements are not a replacement for food. They are a supplement to food. You've got to have, you have to have the food part of the equation as well, okay? All right, so that's very important. And let me say one more thing about abnormality, because how many people want to conceive by summertime of this year? Let me see. Let me see, mamas, tell me. I'm going to have a sip of my drink while you do that. Let me know, let me know. Okay. Yes, Mama Erica. Yes, by summer. Mama Tony. Mama Oana, Mama Shante, Mama Katarzynia, ready ASAP. Yes. Mama Erica, Mama Nuzai, I know I've seen your name before. Mama Nuzaira, I hope I said that correctly. Mama Rina's here. Hi, Mama Rina. Welcome, Mama Claudine, Mama Cece, Mama Jennifer, Mama Erica, Mama Robin, Mama Lakivia. Yes, okay, I said it correctly. Okay, good. I'm so glad. Okay, Mama Melissa. Okay, so here's something very important. Preventing miscarriages that happen in the summer starts today. So we can't putz around. It starts today. Miscarriage risk rises by 44% in the summer, peaking in late August, okay? Now, we know that what we do now is the thing that will prevent the abnormality. Maybe I didn't make that connection for you. Let me back up one step. Those are miscarriages by the 8th week of pregnancy. Almost all miscarriages that happen by the 8th week of pregnancy are the result of chromosomal abnormalities, neural tube defects, or other types of defects. There are other causes, and if you want, we can do an entire session on miscarriage root causes and prevention, and I'm happy to do that. I just don't know if that scares people. It's important to have the information, but it's a hard topic to talk about. So if you want to have a session on that, then just put prevention in the chat and it'll let me gauge how much how much interest there is, and I can do a session for you, because there are about 5 root causes that account for almost all miscarriages, and we can address those, and that gives us really strong odds of being able to prevent them. But out of all of those, the number one cause is abnormality, which is why I've just talked to you about abnormality. All of the other root causes, by the way, need that biochemical signaling of safety, just like the reduction of abnormality risk needs them. Okay, so it's the same processes, same pathways we're working on, but some different categories. But even still, out of all of the categories, at least 60% of miscarriages are the result of abnormalities. Okay, the abnormalities that will occur in the egg and sperm that meet and in the pregnancy that results, that will be the pregnancy that will happen and will attempt to grow during the summer, have to be prevented now. They have to be prevented now. One of those pathways is through making sure that vitamin D levels and other nutrient levels are where they need to be. In fact, vitamin D is one of the most powerful pathways, okay? All right, so it's very important that we understand that it's not just miscarriage that has at the root cause abnormality. And we know, like I just said, that at least 60% of miscarriages do have at their root cause abnormality. But if you're not getting pregnant in the first place, and you're accurately timing intercourse so that egg and sperm should be meeting, that lack of fertilization indicates abnormality in the sperm and or in the egg, or the way that they're combining with one another. Okay, so we have to be all over that right now through psychogenomics, nutrigenomics. So trimester, don't skimp. The inner work, it's hard. Everybody much rather take supplements than do that, but you need both. So the psychogenomics and the trimester, and then your supplements. Okay, all right, now I think we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop soon, because we're a little bit, I wanted to try to finish right at the hour. I'm always happy to stay as long as needed, but I know that you all have places to go. So let me just show you something really quickly, and then we're gonna wrap up for today. Now, make sure that you've gotten everything that you need today, please. And by the way, when I drop off, the team will stay on, and they will continue to stay on. Make sure you stay on as long as it takes. For the last, I know where a lot of us are in different parts of the world, so for some of it's late, but even if it's late, stay on as long as it takes to make sure that every mama who's here gets what she needs today on the session. Okay, so let me just show you. I'm just going to show you a really quick overview. Oh, I didn't finish going over the way to take your supplements. Okay, that's pretty short. I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me just show you. So we talked about your 23 vital egg cell components, and we talked about how a set of 84 nutrients, scientifically validated nutrients and probiotic strains, support these critical components of our egg cells, which are so beautiful, and they're so tiny that they fit into a hair follicle, just one hair follicle, but they have so much going on in them, and they're so important. Obviously, they become our super babies. Okay, so I talked to you about that in our last session. I've reiterated it over email. If you're not opening my emails, make sure you open them, because I always put really amazing information in them for you. Okay, so Today, I wanted to teach you about the critical components of sperm cells, and then I wanted to teach you about critical sperm parameters, of which there are 9, and many of them you've never heard of before. And then I wanted to show you what happens to the egg cell components and the sperm cell components during fertilization and after fertilization. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover with you today. We're not going to go over these things because we're going to stop here. We're going to have another session and we'll go over them. In the meantime, I will continue to go over the 84 nutrients and probiotic strains that have the strongest scientific support behind them for your egg cell components. Now, all of those are covered for you in the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection. That's why we call it the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection, because once you have that, you don't need anything else for your eggs or for your partner's sperm if you have a male partner. So if you're doing those, you already have them, but it's still good to understand why it's so important and how it works. What are the mechanisms? Okay, so we're going to do another session. We'll go over the material that we didn't cover today. Before we close, let me just give you the Cliff's Notes about taking your supplements. Okay, so you have your super egg support. You take 10 capsules a day, soon to be 11 capsules. And then when I finalize that additional nutrient, it probably is going to be at least one more capsule. I'm hoping just one more, maybe more than that. But for now, your next shipment of super egg support is going to be 11 capsules. All right. So split dosing is recommended. For example, you're going to take 4 capsules with breakfast, 3, well, with the 11, let's see, did I do that right? No, this is based on the 10 capsules. Okay. 4 capsules with breakfast, 4 capsules with lunch, and 3 capsules with dinner. Okay. Now, it's better to take your super egg support with food to improve absorption of the fat soluble nutrients that are in the super egg support. This is the most potent egg quality, ovarian reserve, and biological cellular age reduction supplement formulation on the planet. So when you start this supplement for the first time, those of you who are already taking it, this is not relevant to you because you've already done this. But if you're starting it for the first time, start slowly. It is medical prescription grade. It is extremely potent, the most potent. Take 1 to 2 capsules the first day and increase by 1 to 2 capsules each day until you reach the full dose of 10 or 11, which is what it will be in your next batch. Okay. Now, these nutrients give you a lot of energy. That's going to be one of the first things you notice. We've also heard people getting amazing compliments on their skin and hair, and also having tremendous mental clarity and calm, feeling really grounded. These nutrients have a whole host of benefits beyond egg quality, ovarian reserve, biological age, and fertility. I don't talk about those other things enough because we're here focused on those things, but you will see a lot of other benefits, reduction of belly fat. Some of the benefits you feel more immediately, others of them take time. It takes time for the impacts in eggs to accrue because remember that maturation process, the egg maturation process takes time, as does the sperm maturation process. So that doesn't happen immediately, but there will be other things that you'll feel immediately. Okay, so 11 capsules, 4 in the morning with breakfast, 4 in the afternoon with lunch, 3 with dinner. Take with food because they have a lot of fat soluble nutrients. And start slowly when you get your first bottle. Once you've done your first titration up, you don't have to do that every time you get a new bottle. It's just for the first time. Okay, then you have your super multi. This is your world's most amazing prenatal. You take it in the trimester, pregnancy, throughout. You take 5 capsules a day with food for better absorption of fat-soluble nutrients. This formulation has very powerful dosages of DHA, EPA, and choline, and a number of other things that are fat soluble. So you want to take those with food. Split dosing recommended once again. For example, you can take 3 capsules with breakfast and 2 capsules with lunch. Again, these nutrients give you energy, not jittery, calm, good energy. And so I recommend taking the higher number of capsules earlier in the day. So you get that boost in the morning, you get that boost at that midday slump, and then you don't maybe need as much energy in the evening. Okay, your super probiotic microbiome support. The second generation formulation is 2 capsules per day. That's why it has 60 in the bottle, okay? You can take 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening. This can be taken on an empty stomach or with food. You can experiment to see which works better for your body, or keep it simple, take in the morning on an empty stomach and in the evening with or after food. That way you get a little of each, okay? All right, so that's those. Now let's talk about super neuro and MTHFR support. This is what those of you who have been with us from the beginning know as extraneural tube and chromosomal care bundle. This is now all in one and with enhancements, okay? It's called super neuro and MTHFR support. Even if you don't have the higher risk MTHFR variants, if you have experienced miscarriage, if you've had failed IVF cycles due to poor egg quality, or the blastocysts not being chromosomally normal, or you have known pregnancies with known or suspected previous pregnancies with known or suspected neural tube defects, other defects, or abnormalities, this is very important for you. If you have higher risk MTHFR variants, this is also important for you. Take up to 4 capsules daily. This is according to recommendations by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Okay, now this is for a specific group of people. Scientific research has shown that even a slightly higher dosage, 5 capsules per day, which is 5,000 micrograms per day, is beneficial. This is for people with Crohn's disease or other inflammatory bowel diseases. For most people, the 4,000 micrograms will be the upper limit for you. That will be what you'll be using if you have known or suspected abnormalities because of what you've seen in your own pregnancies or IVF process, or if you're not getting pregnant, or you have been told that your egg quality is poor, etc. Okay. Now, split dosing is recommended, and you take this supplement between meals because it doesn't contain fat-soluble vitamins. It has water-soluble vitamins. So for instance, if you're taking 4 capsules per day, you can take 2 between breakfast and lunch and 2 between lunch and dinner. These nutrients also give you energy. So, you know, you take them relatively earlier in the day. They're not going to keep you up, but let's just concentrate them earlier as opposed to later. Okay. Sometimes I take mine at night before bed. If I somehow missed a dose during the day, it's totally fine for me. But you'll just see what feels best in your body. Okay. Super melatonin, take 1 capsule before bed. You only need 1 capsule per day for egg quality based on our scientific data. If you desire more for sleep purposes, just make sure that you don't exceed 3 capsules a day, because you don't want to exceed 9 milligrams, particularly if you're conceiving naturally, because it could interfere with ovulation for 5 to 10% of women, as we talked about earlier. You only need 1 capsule per day, but if you want more, just don't take more than 3 capsules per day, okay? Super DHEA with pregnenolone, you take up to 3 capsules daily. Split dosing recommended. I didn't put that here, but take with food. Now, the most scientifically studied dosage is 25 milligrams 3 times per day, which is why I say take up to 3 capsules per day, because each one's 25 milligrams, okay? Super poops, we already talked about. Start with 1 capsule at night, increase each day as needed until you get to the bowel movement level that you want to be having in the morning and throughout the day. That's kind of your physical, marker of the right dose for you. It has a lot of other benefits and effects, but that's the thing that you're looking for to know what the right dose is for you. For some of you, 1 will be enough. Some will need 3, some will need 12, some will need 10. So you just experiment to get to what you need, okay? All right, so this is for dadas. These are the dada parts in the the ultimate egg and sperm collection. So for the mamas, there are 7 in the 7 different products in the ultimate egg and sperm collection. By the way, I counted the capsules for you. Don't be overwhelmed by this. So this is 18 plus 10 capsules. I dosed this at 2 capsules, okay, to get that number. So if you need more, it'll end up being more than that. So 18 plus 10, 28 capsules a day. Now, I know for some of you that sounds like a lot. Split it into 3 or 4 times a day, whatever you need. In fact, it automatically is 4 times a day because you take the morning, lunch, dinner, and then super poops and at night. And for some of you, the probiotic will be at dinner, the second one at dinner or at night. Now, it's not a big deal. There are 84 different nutrients that are all the 84 nutrients and probiotics strains that have been shown in the scientific data to meaningfully impact egg quality, ovarian reserve, and other aspects of fertility are included in the ultimate egg and sperm collection. If you were to take each one of those individually, you would have 84 different bottles, and you would be taking more than 84 capsules, because for many of them you would need, based on the doses that we have in our formulations, you would need multiple capsules. So for what you're getting and what you're doing for your eggs and your body and your mental health and your stress response and your HPA axis, HPTAO axis, thyroid ovarian axis as well, on the same axis as the body stress response system, this is nothing. And by the way, I've calculated how long it takes to open a bottle, take out the supplement, and close it. And if you had to do that for 84 bottles, it's literally hours per day, okay? This saves you so much time, so much money. It sounds expensive, but if you were to buy each of these nutrients individually in the doses they're provided, it would be so much more expensive than what you're getting, and the form of the nutrients and the manufacturing process would be inferior. We have developed a manufacturing process where we don't have to use one inactive ingredient in our supplements, with the exception of the probiotic strains for the mamas. That's a very complex thing to make sure you've done everything to keep those probiotic strains alive. Okay, so that's different, but everything else, there is not one inactive ingredient except for the microcrystalline cellulose capsule that holds the nutrients, which is made out of cellulose, which is a plant cell wall fiber, and purified water. That's how pure and amazing these are. And that's also why, even though you're getting 84 nutrients and probiotic strains, you only have to take 28 capsules as opposed to 84 plus, that would probably end up being 100 and something capsules, because we have no fillers in our capsules. which is what other supplement companies do. They put fillers so that it has to increase, it has to increase the capsule count so that you have to take more. These are so beautiful and amazing. So don't be overwhelmed by having to take 28 capsules per day. It is well worth what you are doing for yourself, okay? For your fertility, for your super babies, for your longevity, for your cognitive function and motivation and focus and all. I mean, one day I'll write you a long list of all the non-reproductive benefits that you're getting from these nutrients as well. But of course, we're here for that. We're here for our super babies. Okay, so 7 items in the Ultimate Egg and Sperm collection are for mama. Now you have the Cliff's Notes version of how to take them. We'll send you an email with screenshots from this so that you literally, if you want to print it and just have it, you can follow. It's all on the bottles, but if this makes it simple for you because it's all in one place, I'm happy for you to have it. Okay. Now, for the dadas, I believe we have 5. Yeah, we have 5 total. But remember, with the release of the 2nd gen, it will be 1 bottle, only 1 product, the Super Sperm and Testosterone Support. It will have everything that's here, plus a dozen or more amazing enhancements for the variety of sperm parameters, test-free and total testosterone production, as well as the effects on libido and motivation and athletic performance and recovery and stamina and all of these amazing things because they're related. So I didn't put the nutrients in there for those things specifically, but because they're there for sperm and testosterone, they have all these other amazing effects, prostate function and health. Oh, so many things. Okay, so you have the Prime Male. Take 4 capsules daily with food for better absorption, split dosing. So take 2 capsules with breakfast and 2 capsules with lunch. Again, a lot of energy. This is also powerful immune formula. So is the Super Egg Support, by the way. The Super Vitamin D3, take up to 4 capsules daily with food for better absorption. It's because it's fat soluble, and you can do the split dosing for this as well. Some people find that taking some vitamin D at night helps them sleep and helps to regulate the circadian rhythm, but also in the morning. So you might want to do some in the morning and some at night of your vitamin D3 for the dadas. The Super DHA, take up to 4 capsules daily with food for better absorption. It's fat soluble, split dosing recommended. For example, 2 capsules with breakfast and 2 capsules with lunch. Super choline, take up to 2 capsules daily with food, also fat soluble, split dosing. For example, 1 capsule with breakfast and 1 capsule with lunch. Super probiotic microbiome support. 2nd gen, remember, is 2 capsules. 1st gen was just 1 capsule. Take 2 capsules per day, 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening. Try 1 in the morning on an empty stomach, 1 in the evening with dinner or after dinner, okay? And I think that's everything. Okay, so we covered that. We'll send you an email, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll send a quick well, it's never quick, but I like to be thorough for you. So I'll send you a recap email. We'll include the screenshots of the Cliff's Notes version of how to take your nutrients, okay? And then, okay, let's talk about when we're going to be together today. So when not today, when we are together, when we're going to be together again. So next week, we have our Super Family Vision 2025 community session. So we'll be together next Wednesday, same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to do a really incredible process for planning out the year, for your fertility, your family, your finances. I'm going to show you what my hubby, Jair, and I have done since our first year of marriage to really be intentional about our family culture and how we plan for and show up for each year. And I also did some new things for this year. and I'm going to show you those as well. So we'll do that because we already have that scheduled for next week. So I won't postpone it to cover the things we didn't cover today. We'll go ahead and do that next week because we want to get that going so that you have it to as your guiding light for the rest of 2025. So then the week after that, which is what date? Let me see. Hold on. So I can't believe it. Next week's the first week of February, or this weekend is the first week of, no, I'm wrong. Okay, let's see. What is it? The 31st is Thursday, right? Yes. Okay, yeah, this weekend is the first day of February. So next Wednesday is February 5th. We'll be together for our Super Family Vision 2025. We'll send you the link tomorrow or the next day so you can reserve your seat for that. It's a free seat, of course. And then, so the week after that, February 12th, we'll come back and I'm going to teach you all of those things about the sperm cell components, the sperm parameters that no one's ever taught you about, how to ensure that they're healthier, so that we don't have the issue of abnormality coming from that side. We've already been working on preventing abnormality coming from the egg side, okay? Then I also will teach you about how the sperm and egg cell components come together and change during and after fertilization, and what is within our power to do to help to ensure that those things go correctly. So that's what I had prepared for you for today. Since we didn't cover all of that, that's what we'll do. So team, can you create a session for that for February 12th, that Wednesday, same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, and then we'll have that ready and we'll come together and finish going over everything from today. Is that sound good, everybody? Everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, Mama Pooja. We don't recommend using the DHA. We don't recommend using any DHEA supplement, even our own, if you have PCOS. Now, in reality, because we've added pregnenolone, which is the master hormone, our DHEA is probably much safer for people with PCOS, but I still don't recommend it, just to err on the side of caution, okay? So Mama Pooja was saying people with PCOS shouldn't use DHEA, and we 100% agree, and we've talked about that. And remember, there's an egg, the ultimate egg and sperm collection, PCOS edition, made specifically for that reason, that has everything except for the super DHEA with pregnenolone. Okay, so if you have PCOS, use the PCOS edition, just so we err on the side of caution. And what's interesting is that PCOS is very damaging to egg cells. So, you know, everybody's obsessed with their egg quality, because it's the thing that egg quality and egg quantity or ovarian reserve are the thing that expire the fastest in females. And so everybody's concerned about it, and we all need to be thinking about it. And we need to harness the power of our eggs long before we're ready to conceive, so that we have our healthiest periods. And also after we're finished completing our families, for our life force and our vitality and our longevity. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any more super babies, although, you know, I never like fully lose the desire to have more super babies, but I have to say my 3 super babies' lives are so full and big, and it's the complexity of their schedules, along with the complexity of the schedules of the grown-up and the grown-ups in the family, my schedule, and the amount of my heart and soul and mind and energy and life force that I give to our community. I don't think I could add more super babies without taking time away from the ones that I already have, because I don't I don't have a lot of extra time. And so for that reason, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any more super babies. But even though I'm pretty sure I'm complete having super babies, I have a challenge to myself to stay fertile until I'm at least 50. And I'm on track for that. And I want to maintain my fertility and my beautiful eggs and that life force, that creative life force that they give me for as long as possible. So we all want to be doing that before we're ready to have our super babies, of course, when we want to have them, and even after. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let's see. Yes, Mama Erica, are you so excited for Super Family Vision 2025? I think so. That's what you're saying. I'm so excited. Let's see. No, I will send you. Are you talking about, let's see, Mama Lauren, are you talking about the screenshots from my slides for the Cliff's Notes for taking your supplements? We'll send them to you. Don't worry. No worries at all. Mama Katarzyna. Okay, thank you. All right, so everybody likes the plan. So we'll be together again next week. Next week, we'll do Super Family Vision as planned. And then the week after, we'll come back and we'll go over the material that we didn't cover today. All right, let's see. Okay, so we are not sending out replays for the sessions anymore. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So we won't be sending those out, okay? Yeah, see you next week. Lots of love and positivity sprinkled with baby dust. Thank you so much, Mama Katarzyna. Okay, mamas, I am going to get off now. I just got blurry again for some reason, I think because I move so much while I'm talking. Sorry for that. So I'm gonna go off now, but stay here and get what you need, please. That's very important to me. So I'm not host. I'm gonna hang up and it should not affect this meeting. You should be able to continue to stay on and let the members of the support team who are here take care of the things that you need, okay? I send you off with my unconditional loving kindness. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Happy Lunar New Year. It's what is it? The year of the snake, right? I think so. And I hope everybody's doing really well. There's a lot going on in the world, and I'm just so hopeful for a beautiful, beautiful year for all of you and such a bright, bright future for your super babies. That's what I want more than anything in the world. So I send you off with my unconditional loving kindness. I'm sprinkling super baby dust in your direction. I can't wait to be with you again next Wednesday. In the meantime, I'll be emailing you just about every day. I always do my best. Some days I don't. And we are experimenting a little bit with emailing a little bit less to see, do you like that frequency more? Right now, we have an average open rate of 47% and an average unsubscribe rate of 0.1%, which is really, it's stellar. But we're always working to test. And I mean, I'm a scientist. I guess I can't help but testing to improve and to see what it is that you love, and what frequency you love hearing from us. But I think so. I think we are emailing a little bit less than daily, which we had been doing for a long time. But I have a lot of follow-up things to share with you, so I'll probably email you at least once a day for the next few days, and we'll send out the surveys again, so that you can add your voice if you didn't complete the survey. And then once we have a pretty critical mass of data on the surveys and we feel confident that we know your preferences, I'll send the feedback to you, okay? We have so many amazing messages coming in about super egg support results. So I will start sharing more of those as well. Okay, I'll stop there. Thank you so much for our beautiful time together as always, and I'll see you next week for Super Family Vision. Oh, team, this is really important. We need to send a list of things for people to bring to Super Family Vision. Can you remind me to send an email so that people have time to prep and get everything ready for next Wednesday, so I don't forget to do that? Okay. I send you off with my unconditional loving kindness. Have a beautiful rest of the day wherever you are in this beautiful world that we share. And I will see you again very soon. I'll see you on email tomorrow. And I will see you here face to face on Zoom on Wednesday. Okay? Thanks, mamas. Thanks, team. Okay, I'm going to hang up. It shouldn't affect you all. So stay here and get what you need.